Hey everyone, and welcome to San Francisco. I decided to spend a day here after catching the inaugural flight of Hawaiian Airlines' new 787 Dreamliner. And after spending a great day exploring the city, it's time to head back to the East Coast. This afternoon, I'll be flying out of San Francisco International Airport with United Airlines to Newark. This is the second busiest airport in California after LAX, and is the 5th largest hub for United Airlines. This was my first time flying out of here, and I have to say that it's a lot nicer than the other United hub that I'm used to flying from. Security was a breeze, and it left me with more time than I had anticipated to explore Terminal 3. I ate before leaving for the airport today, but if I had been hungry there would have been plenty of restaurants to choose from all throughout the terminal. And there were some nice shops to pick up some last-minute souvenirs. I think my favorite part about San Francisco International, though, is how the SFO Museum created 45 art spaces spread all across the airport. And I also found it easy to find a nice place to sit and enjoy the views of the apron. But before I knew it, I caught a glimpse of the plane that would be taking me to Newark tonight, so it was time to head to the gate. This evening I'll be flying aboard this 26-year-old 757-200. The 757 has been a long-time workhorse for United, and they operate these jets on both domestic and international flights all the way to Europe. Currently they have 40 757-200s and 21 757-300s, and eventually these aging narrow bodies will be replaced by the A321neo. It'll be a sad day when these planes are eventually retired. I'm sure the A321neo will serve United well, but I just love the look of the 757. Boarding began promptly at 3:35, and judging by the line at the gate, it seemed like this was going to be a pretty full flight. This plane has 16 Polaris business class seats in a 2-2 layout. This is a premium transcontinental route, so if you're fortunate enough to book a business class ticket, then you'll get perks like lounge access and lie-flat seats. I was not fortunate enough to book a business class ticket for this trip, so I'll be sitting in the back in economy. My seat for this flight will be 38A. There's a total of 160 economy seats on this plane, 42 of which are Economy Plus, and they're all in a 3-3 configuration. I had a positive first impression of the seat. There was a nice amount of legroom, the seat reclined, and had an adjustable headrest. The tray table folded down like this, and there was a decent amount of space in the storage pocket. There's an IFE system in the headrest, which had a headphone jack and a USB port. There was also a universal power outlet in between the seats. And I was definitely happy to see that there were individual air vents and reading lights. A downside though was the overhead bins, which were pretty small and they filled up quickly. The crew handed out these sanitizing wipes as we were boarding. There were also blankets waiting for us when we got to our seats.
We'll be pushing back here in just a few minutes. Flight time is exactly 5 hours. Our cruising altitude will be up to 36,000 feet. Should be smooth getting out of here. Maybe a little bit bumpy going over the Rockies, and then smooth again for a while, and then maybe a little bumpy going on our descent. Thanks a lot for joining us. We're glad to have you on board, and we'll talk to you again up in the air. Thank you.
This ended up being a full flight, and the crew worked hard to get everyone seated to ensure that we left the gate on time. San Francisco International Airport was one of the first airports to implement a Fly Quiet program, which grades airlines on their performance on noise abatement procedures while flying in and out of the airport. They've also spent over $150 million installing sound installation in homes in neighboring cities. In 2018, they also signed an agreement to begin to supply sustainable aviation fuel to KLM, SAS, and Finnair flights operating out of the airport. This flight will be 5 hours long and see us fly over Nevada, Utah, Wyoming, and then the Midwest before landing in Newark after midnight. After we reached cruising altitude, it took the crew about an hour to start the meal service. And we were flying over Colorado by the time they reached me. There was food available for purchase, or some complimentary pretzels or a fruit bar. I went with the fruit bar, and I have to say that this was one of the most pathetic snacks I've ever received on a transcontinental flight. The economy meal services on these long domestic flights are definitely a pain point for me and many other travelers. But the reality is that US airlines are unlikely to improve upon this anytime soon. So it's best to come prepared. For this flight, I bought a wrap before I got on board and packed a candy bar. The lady sitting next to me did even better and had an entire roast chicken along with several oranges. Once I finished eating and the crew came and cleared away all the garbage, I checked out the IFE system. The screen was very responsive and there were a lot of options. Although the menu was in Japanese and I couldn't get it to switch for some reason, but I worked around that. This plane also had Wi-Fi and you could purchase plans to browse the internet and check your emails starting at $8. You could also use the Wi-Fi to stream some entertainment off the United app and use certain messaging apps for free. By the time I settled on something to watch, it was getting dark outside and the crew handed out some more refreshments. So I sat back, relaxed, and enjoyed my apple juice for the next hour or so. After a while, I decided to go check out one of the 2 lavatories located in the back of the plane. This 757 has a total of 4 lavatories, and the crew did a nice job keeping them clean throughout the entire flight. Once I got back to my seat, we were flying over Louisville, and there were some crazy storms happening in the distance. Thankfully though, this really didn't impact our flight and the captain kept us clear of any turbulence. Despite the captain's warning at the beginning of the flight, we really didn't hit much turbulence, and our trip was nice and smooth. The crew was also really great and they handed out more refreshments from time to time. It would have been nice to fly in the premium cabin and have a lie-flat seat, but I only paid $160 for my ticket, and for that price, my economy seat was perfectly fine. The crew prepped the cabin for landing about 20 minutes away from Newark, and we flew through a bit of bad weather before touching down.
The seatbelt sign is on. Please stay seated with your seatbelt fastened until we arrive at the gate.
Newark International Liberty International Airport. Please stay comfortably seated until the seatbelt sign is off. You may continue to use and charge phones and tablets if you're sitting in an extra row.
At 26 years old, this plane doesn't have all of the creature comforts that newer aircraft have, but it was comfortable enough, and I'd be happy to fly aboard a United 757 again.
On the behalf of the entire United team and our Star Alliance partners, thank you for choosing United. We hope you enjoy your flight and we look forward to seeing you again soon. Protocol for arrival, cross check, stand by for the all-call.
And that'll do it for this video. Thanks for watching, and let me know below if you'd ever want to fly in United 757.